Good morning. Welcome to another clay tutorial. Today's exercise is on hand building, and I'm going to show you how to make a snowman. Since we've entered the winter season, I thought that would be appropriate. And this is a simple example which allows me to review the important steps of hand building. I'm going to mainly focus on slipping and scoring, which is very important because no matter what you sculpt, regardless of how simple it is or how detailed it is, you're always going to be using that same method to attach pieces. And if you don't use that method, then the pieces will not be secure. They will just pop off as the clay dries. So 4-Hers, if you're tuning in, keep in mind that this can qualify as a fair entry. If you submit this item into the state fair, it would fall under decorative item for the home and photo. So this is a clay project, but it's also a piece that you would sit on a shelf somewhere in your home. So in other words, it will be a decorative piece. Just keep in mind that if you do submit this item, you will need to include some photographs of how it is used in your home. So with that said, we will begin. I have a piece of self-hardening clay. This is air dry, so a day from now, once this is completely dry, you will be able to add paint to it if you would like. And I'm gonna separate this large ball into 3 smaller balls, and they will be 3 different sizes. One will be a large one, and the other one will be a medium-sized one, and we'll have a small one, which will be for the head. So we'll just take this apart and get them to the sizes they need to be. Okay, if you're watching this video, and if you have a kit in front of you, your clay will be in a plastic bag. So just take that out of the bag and do what you just saw me demonstrate. Okay. And I'm gonna sit here for just a second to allow you to catch up with me. Okay, so if we're all caught up, we will continue. What we're going to do with each ball is we're going to squeeze it like this. So that we could make the clay solid. Get the lumps out of it. Okay, we're going to roll it up. Okay, we're going to set that one aside and we're going to do the same thing to this one. And we're going to do the same thing with the small one. Okay, so I'm going to allow you to do that, and once you're caught up, we will continue. And while you're doing that, I'm going to get the tool that I need for the scoring. And by the way, the tool that I'm using is actually designed for clay use. It's just a plastic tool with sharp ends. But you can just as easily use a toothpick or a sharp pencil for the scoring. in other words, it's, toothpicks, for example, are a common household item if you don't have pottery tools. So, just use what you have. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do with this larger ball, okay, is I'm going to lightly tap it on the table surface. Now, what is that doing? Well, you're making the bottom a little bit flat, okay? This will be the piece that's your base, and you want the base to be secure on whatever it is that it's sitting on, okay? Otherwise, it's just going to roll around, okay? So having just some of that area on the bottom flat will help it to stay still. Okay, so that's going to be the first thing you will do. The next thing that you'll do is take the middle piece and this is where the scoring comes in. Okay, whenever you score, you just put scratch marks with your sharp tool in one side of it and make those pretty deep. And do the same thing to the top part of the larger ball. And what's going to happen is these score marks will be facing each other whenever you attach the pieces. And they will lock inside the other score marks that you've made, which helps the pieces stick to each other. And there's one more thing that I'll do. I'll take a paintbrush, and I have a cup of water on hand. Get the brush wet, and then brush over those score marks with the water. And that water is making the clay thinner in that area, thinner and wetter, and that's called slip, which is an adhesive that helps your pieces stick. Okay, so after you've brushed water on that side, you're going to take your other piece with the score marks, and you're going to press pretty firmly until those pieces are together. Okay, here's the next thing that you're going to do. You'll notice that there is a seam or a little bit of a crack there between the two pieces. You're going to do what's called blending. You're going to take a tool that has a flat end on it. Okay. Craft sticks work well for this, which is likely what you will have in your kit. And blending the seam just helps your pieces to, is just an additional part of helping your pieces to stick together. Okay, so just kind of rub that seam now after you've done that. And now we have the second level of the snowman. The next one, which will be the head, is done the same way. Okay, we're going to score one side of it. going to do the same thing on this one here. And then you're going to take a paintbrush and again, you're going to brush over those score marks. Once you do that, again, you're going to blend the seam. And we're going to take both ends like that, and we're going to press from each side. Now there's a few other techniques I want to show you. Snow has a certain texture to it, and there's an easy way to make a texture that resembles snow. And what you can do is take the end of your paintbrush, or the handle, and just dab it on the surface, okay? And you're going to do that throughout the entire piece. Okay, so once you have that snow texture on there, you have the basic form sculpted here. And if you want to add facial features, then you can take the end of your paintbrush and just kind of give it a twist to make sockets for the eyes. Do the same thing to make a mouth. And you can even add twigs for the arms if you'd like. Just stick those in, and as the clay dries, those will stay inside the clay. Just make sure that you put them pretty deep inside the clay. Okay, so this is just the basic form. All right. From this point on, it's pretty self-explanatory, depending on how creative you want to be with this sculpture. But again, it's very important to review the hand building steps so that you can get those pieces to be secure. So with that said, we will conclude this video for today, and I will be checking on your piece as I go around the room, and will help you with additional steps and whatever else that can be of help to you. Thanks for tuning in, and have a good day.